whatever is happening, we're getting towards the end. We see some of the signs. Inflation is rising again. Interest rates are rising again. We see new entries coming into new investors coming into the market, and they call up their friends and say, I've discovered this new thing called the stock market, and it's fun, and you can make money, and it's easy. It's easy to make money. And so all the signs that the world has seen many times before are happening again. I don't know how much longer this will go on. I'm not selling short, not yet, but I do see worrying signs for the markets and therefore the world economy. Since we're talking about the markets, the most worrying sign are all the new entries and the developing hysteria which is taking place. These are signs that happen at the top of markets. It's happened many times. If you haven't experienced it, you might have read about it. And that's what's worrying me probably the most, because markets can go up and down and do all sorts of strange things. But eventually, it's the investors who call the tune. And if we have a lot of uneducated or inexperienced, I guess is a better word, inexperienced investors, it worries me. The banks, that's just another sign that happens near the end of bull markets. People don't think you can make mistakes. They think that everything is fine now. And they have a fairly long experience without many mistakes or big mistakes. So they think this is normal. They think we always would just make money. All we got to do is just show up and make money. These are all worrying signs. One of the main lessons of history is that people don't learn the lessons of history. It's all right there. All you do is read your history, you can see, but people don't learn. No. Central banks keep printing money, and governments keep borrowing and spending money. The U.S. government borrows gigantic amounts of money every day. Every day. Look at Tokyo. Oh my gosh, you cannot believe how much they borrow and spend. It's going on around the world, and I'm not suggesting this is good for the world, Kai. I'm not suggesting it's good for you or me or our children, but that's what's happening. I don't know, and it's usually something that something will happen and we will not pay much attention. It'll be a small country or a small industry or something, and not many of us will recognize what's going on. In 2007, Iceland went bankrupt, but nobody cared. Nobody paid attention. Of course, until everybody paid attention. It was on the evening news by 2008, and we all knew there was a problem. That's the way it usually works, or historically it works. So I don't know what the final straw will be, but I know that few of us will recognize it as it's happening. At the moment, anyway, the system still works, and the U.S. can print and spend and borrow and spend. That will someday come to an end, or someday people will be on TV screaming about it, but not yet. But when you see it, Kai, when you see on the evening news that the man in the street is worried about all the government debt and the interest rates are going higher and higher, and the guys are saying, I don't care, I'm not going to borrow any, I'm not going to lend them any more money, then you'll know the crisis is here. This worries me. I mean, the Bank of Japan, every day the guy goes to work and prints money. He prints more money and prints as fast as he can. He's a good Japanese bureaucrat. He does what he's supposed to. And this is going to lead to many, many problems, not just in Japan, not just in the U.S., everywhere. Kai, you're in Germany. Even the Germans have problems now. There are German cities that have big debt problems. Germany. My gosh, in my lifetime, that Germany was the paragon of virtue. Not anymore. The Japanese birth rate and the population have been declining for many years. The population has been declining since 2010. That's, 13, 14 years now. And that is obviously not good, with the debt going through the roof and the population declining. The U.S. still has a rising population, partly because of immigration. Some of it's illegal immigration, but still it's people coming in and increasing the population. But our debt is growing. I don't know whose debt's going faster. I don't know if ours is growing faster or if Japan's is growing faster, but they both are. But Kai, as I say, look out the window, even in Germany. Well, as I look around the world, Kai, I see that stocks in most countries either are or have been at an all-time high or near making new highs. Bonds have never been this high in the history of the world. So bonds are certainly a bubble. So what's left? Property, yes, you can invest in property, and in some places it's great, but many property markets, New Zealand, Korea, there are many property bubbles going on around the world. That really only leaves commodities that are cheap. Silver is down 60% from its all-time high. Sugar, down more than 60%. So the only asset class that I see where they're really cheap entities are commodities. That doesn't mean you can't lose money if you buy them, but that's the only place I see on a historic basis cheap prices. No, I think I see that some prices are make me happy because they're cheap and I can buy them. Agriculture is cheap, for instance, I think. So there are some prices that are cheap, and that makes me happy because maybe I can make some money investing in them. But I guess U.S. stock prices make me unhappy, to use your words, because there are bubbles developing. Apple goes up every day. That's been a great company. That does not mean it's going to be a great stock forever. Back once upon a time, there was in the market, there was the Nifty 50. And the wisdom was, if you buy these 50 companies, you don't ever have to worry about the stocks. Just buy them and forget them. You know how that wound up. But this has happened often in history. In the 20s, Radio Corp of America, my radio was new and it was a gigantic stock. Stock went straight through the roof, always, every week, every day. 1929 came along and ended that story, but this has happened before, Guy. All these young, or I should say not young, but inexperienced investors coming in and talking about how easy it is. It's not the first rodeo. Electric cars, which are coming, electric vehicles, use much more copper than petrol cars or gasoline cars. These are simple facts. And so as long as we are moving towards electric cars, which apparently we are, the demand for copper is not going down. And people haven't been opening copper mines recently. Lead mines, they use a lot more lead, they use a lot more lithium, they use a lot more everything. So if the world is going to become electric, which apparently we are, the demand is certainly not going to go away.